After the wedding, the guy confessed that he had a second family in another city, and she didn't know about that either. It was the happiest day of my life, or so I thought. Sunlight spilled across the dance floor as Kara twirled in her white lace gown, laughing at something her cousin whispered in her ear. Her cheeks were flushed with wine and joy. I stood near the DJ booth, whiskey in hand, watching her with a kind of reverence. My wife. My partner. My secret. You ever seen someone smile like they've never been hurt? That was Kara. Pure. Unblemished. She grew up in a small Michigan town where the biggest scandal was the local church's new carpet color. She believed in second chances, Christmas miracles, and the idea that love could fix everything. I didn't want to hurt her. God, that was never the plan. But sometimes life gets tangled up, like a fishing line caught in river rock. You tug one thread, and everything else starts to snap. The confession came late that night. After the last guest left, after the last slow dance faded into silence, we sat on the porch swing of the honeymoon cabin. The fireflies were out. Kara's head rested on my shoulder, fingers laced with mine, her veil still clinging to her hair like a memory. I feel like I'm dreaming, she said, her voice soft. Do you? I nodded. Yeah. Except. She sat up, sensing the shift in my tone. Her smile faded. Except what? I took a long breath. My hand shook as I set down the whiskey glass. Kara, I said, there's something I need to tell you, and I need you to let me finish before you say anything. Her eyes narrowed. She crossed her arms. Okay. There's someone else, I said. Not the best opener. I know that now. Someone else? Like, you cheated? She whispered. No, not like that. I have another family. In Ohio. A wife. A son. I've had them for 6 years. Her breath hitched. Her eyes went wide. But she didn't cry. Not yet. What the hell do you mean another family? I met her before you. We got married fast. She was pregnant. But we grew apart. Stayed for the kid. I never stopped loving him, but I stopped loving her. I wasn't planning to keep it from you. I just didn't know how to tell you without losing you. Kara stood, silent, still. Then she laughed. A short, bitter thing. You married me while still married to someone else. I didn't say I was still married, I said quickly. We're separated. It's complicated. You're telling me, on our wedding night, that I'm the other woman? No, Kara. You're the one I love. She turned her back to me, staring out into the dark woods. And then, in a voice so calm it scared me, she said, you need to leave. But, you need to leave. Now. I didn't sleep that night. I left the cabin, like she told me. Drove down the gravel path back to the hotel where my groomsmen had been staying. But they were long gone. Just me and the ice machine humming in the hallway, and the weight of everything I'd said hanging around my neck like an anchor. I didn't hear from Kara the next morning. No calls. No texts. No door slams or hysterical sobs. Just silence. That kind of quiet you feel in your bones. I sat in the parking lot for over an hour, debating whether to go back. Finally, I went. The cabin looked untouched. Porch swing still swaying like she'd never left it. Her dress, the one she danced in just hours ago, was draped over the railing, catching dew. Inside, it was worse. She had unpacked every wedding gift we'd received. Neatly, methodically, unwrapped each item, lined them on the kitchen counter. Crockpots, picture frames, towels monogrammed with the Thompsons, all displayed like evidence in a courtroom, one by one, as if she needed to stare down each piece of her shattered future. She was sitting cross-legged on the floor, still in her bridesmaid robe, hair wild, eyes red but dry. You came back, she said, not looking up. I didn't know where else to go. You could have gone to Ohio, she said. You've got a home there, right? I winced. It's not like that. She finally looked at me. Don't say that again. Ever. I sat on the floor beside her, careful not to touch her. There was space between us now, the kind you don't measure in inches, but in truths told too late. She picked up a wine glass, held it up like she was inspecting a diamond. Do they know about me? Your other family? I shook my head. No, I never talked about you to them. It didn't feel fair. Kara laughed again. Fair? You married me yesterday. Fair would have been telling me this the first night we met. Hell, the first kiss. I know, I whispered. She set the glass down. Do you love your son? With everything I've got. Then you lied to him too, she said. Because a man who lies to the woman he loves is the kind of man who teaches his son to do the same. That one stung. I wanted to defend myself. To say I wasn't a bad guy. That I'd just been scared, caught between two lives. But the truth was simpler. I was a coward. And Kara, she wasn't built for cowardice. She stood, walked to the guest room, and came back with a suitcase. The same one she'd packed for our honeymoon. She set it by the door. "You should go," she said, "before I forget how calm I've been." And I did. I left without another word, suitcase in hand. Because sometimes silence is the last kindness someone gives you. 3 days after the wedding that ended, I knocked on Monica's door in Dayton. She opened it in leggings and an oversized hoodie, hair tied up, baby on her hip, like every other Tuesday we'd had for the past 6 years. But this time, I didn't come with groceries or school papers. This time, I came with something heavier. She knew something was off right away. "You look like hell," she said. "I got married," I replied. Monica blinked. "Excuse me." I gestured toward the lawn. "Can we not do this on the porch?" She let me in, set Josh down on the couch with his tablet, and motioned for me to follow her into the kitchen. Same kitchen where we used to argue over bills and birthday plans. Same spot where she once said, "We don't love each other anymore, but we love our boy, so let's just be decent." I leaned against the counter. She didn't offer coffee. "I met someone," I said. "A while ago. It was serious. We got married last weekend." Monica's jaw clenched. "And you're telling me this now because—" She didn't know about you. About Josh. "Oh," she said. "Just that. One syllable. But it carried more weight than any punch I'd ever taken." "I didn't plan it this way," I added quickly. I never meant for things to get so far without telling her. I thought I could keep the parts of my life separate. "Like dinner plates?" she snapped. "Jake, we're not Tupperware. We're people." I nodded. "I know." She crossed her arms. "So what happens now? You want to introduce your new wife to our son like he's a side project?" "She kicked me out," I said, "right after the wedding." "Good. Monica, I'm not looking for a pass. I'm trying to clean this up." She tilted her head. "Clean it up? This isn't spilled milk, Jake. This is your whole damn life." Josh called from the living room. "Mom, can I have chips?" "In a minute," she replied. Then she looked at me, eyes softer now. Not forgiving, but tired. "You always loved half-truths. You think you're protecting people by hiding things. But what you're really doing is stealing their right to choose. That woman, Kara, she didn't leave you because you had a past. She left you because you made her part of a lie." I swallowed hard. She grabbed her phone from the counter and held it out. "Call her," she said. "Tell her the whole truth. Not the pretty version. The real one. And if she doesn't answer, then at least you'll know you did one thing right." I nodded, took the phone, and stepped outside into the Ohio wind, the kind that cuts through regret like a blade. It took me 7 tries to record that voicemail. I kept deleting it, kept stumbling over my own guilt. You ever try to pack 6 years of secrets into 60 seconds? There's no clean way to do it. But in the end, I left her the only kind of message I knew how to, one where the silence did most of the talking. "Hey, Kara, it's me. I guess you knew that. Listen, I don't expect forgiveness. I don't even expect a call back. I just want you to hear it from me before someone else tells it worse. Her name's Monica. We met before I ever knew you. We rushed into things, got married because of a baby, not love. We split before I met you, but we never finalized anything. I stayed involved for my son, Josh. He's 5. He likes dinosaurs and peanut butter and climbing on furniture he's not supposed to. You didn't just marry a liar. You married a father, one too scared to say the words out loud. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to lose you. And now I have anyway. I'm sorry. For everything. For making you part of a story you didn't choose. You deserved better than me." I hit send. And that was that. I waited for 2 days. Nothing. On the 3rd day, I got a text. It was short. Simple. I listened. "I need time." No name. No punctuation. But it was her. That same afternoon, I drove out to the lake where we'd taken our engagement photos. A stretch of still water and silence. I sat on the same bench where she once told me she wanted 3 kids and a golden retriever named Waffles. I stared at the spot where she danced barefoot in the grass, spinning until she got dizzy and fell into my arms. And I cried. Not the kind of crying you do when someone dies, but the kind that comes when you finally realize you were the one holding the knife. I pulled out a notebook, something Monica gave me before I left. and started writing down every lie I'd ever told Kara, line by line. It took hours. Felt like gutting myself with every sentence. But I kept going, because she deserved the truth, even if it came too late. I mailed it to her the next morning. A letter. A full account. Not to win her back, just to let her see what I never let her see. The whole of me. The mess, the mistakes, the man behind the vows. I didn't know if she'd read it, but she did. And a week later, she wrote back. The letter arrived in a plain white envelope. No return address. Just my name, written in Kara's tight, looping script, the same handwriting that once filled grocery lists and birthday cards. I sat in my truck outside a gas station, engine off, fingers trembling as I tore it open. It wasn't long. A single page, folded once, neat and careful. But every word on it hit harder than any fist I'd ever taken. Jake. I read it. All of it. Twice. I don't know what hurts more, that you lied, or that you thought I couldn't handle the truth. You were so afraid of losing me, but what you really did was never let me in. I married a version of you that never existed. And maybe that's on me, too, for falling for someone who always seemed just a little too perfect. I don't hate you. I wish I did. Hate is easier to hold. But what I feel now is something heavier, a kind of grief that doesn't have a name. I need time, not to decide if I'll forgive you, but to figure out if I can trust myself again. Take care of your son. Be honest with him. Be the father you wish someone had been for you. Kara. I sat in that truck for a long time, reading, rereading, letting her words settle into my bones. She didn't say goodbye. She didn't say she was coming back. She didn't offer hope, but she didn't shut the door either. And that did something to me. I started thinking about Josh, about the man he needed, not the man who split his life in two, hiding pieces of himself behind a smile, but a whole one. A man who could look him in the eye and say, "This is the truth," even when it hurts. I drove straight to his school that afternoon, waited at the gate with a note from Monica. When Josh came out, he spotted me and his face lit up like the sun rising. "Daddy." He ran into my arms. And for the first time in months, maybe years, I felt something crack open inside me. Not guilt, not shame, resolve. I couldn't undo what I'd done to Kara, but I could start being the man she believed I was. For Josh, for myself. That night, I told my son everything. Not about Kara, not yet, but about truth. About being brave with your mistakes. About the power of saying, "I was wrong." He looked at me with those wide, innocent eyes and said, "You're still my favorite, even when you mess up." I tucked him into bed with a lump in my throat, and I whispered, "You make me want to be better." 2 months had passed. Fall settled in like an old coat. Crisp mornings, rust-colored leaves swirling in parking lots, and that slow hush that comes right before the cold sets in. I hadn't heard from Kara again, not since the letter. But that didn't stop her from showing up in the corners of my life. A mug she bought still sat in my cabinet. Her playlist still shuffled into my truck speakers. And every time I dropped Josh off at school, I'd catch glimpses of her in the other parents. The way one mom tied her hair up, the way another laughed with her whole body. She was everywhere. And nowhere. Then one Sunday morning, I got a call from Trevor, my best man, one of the few people still speaking to me. "You sitting down?" he asked. "Why?" "Because Kara's hosting a charity event next week. At the same hall you two were supposed to have the reception." I didn't respond. He waited a beat. "It's for that literacy nonprofit she works with. I saw the flyer. She's co-chairing it. Her name's on everything." "You think she did that on purpose?" He laughed softly. "No, man. I think it's just life being poetic or cruel, depending on your mood." I thought about it for hours after we hung up. Then I did something stupid. I bought a ticket. I didn't tell Monica. Didn't tell anyone. Just cleaned up, put on the same suit I wore to the wedding, and drove 2 hours in silence to that reception hall I once imagined filled with our first dance and toasts about forever. It looked the same. Marble floors, high ceilings, chandeliers that looked like icicles frozen in mid-drip. The tables were draped in navy linen, little centerpieces made of stacked books and candles. Kara's touch was everywhere. I hovered near the back. Didn't want to make a scene. Then I saw her. She wore a navy dress with sleeves that caught the light every time she moved. Her hair was pinned up, earrings like tiny stars. And that same damn smile, warm but distant. She didn't see me at first. She was too busy speaking with a group of older donors, nodding, thanking, guiding them like a seasoned pro. And then her eyes met mine. A flicker of something, surprise, maybe, or dread. She didn't come over, didn't wave, but she didn't leave either. After her speech, which was flawless, by the way, I walked over to the donation box, dropped in a check. Nothing flashy, just enough to mean something. As I turned to go, her voice stopped me. Jake. I turned. She stood a few feet away, arms crossed, unsure whether to smile or walk out the door. You came, she said. I wasn't sure I should, I replied. She nodded, eyes scanning the room. This place haunted you too. Every night since. She sighed. You look tired. I am. A pause. Then she said, thank you. For the donation. You're welcome. Another pause. Heavier this time. I didn't ask for forgiveness. I didn't beg. I just looked at her, hoping she could see it, the man trying to put himself back together. And then, so quietly I almost missed it, she said, I'm not ready. But I don't hate you anymore. And just like that, she turned back into the crowd. 2 weeks after that charity event. 2 weeks since Kara looked me in the eye and said she didn't hate me anymore. Josh asked a question that split me in two. We were sitting at our favorite diner, that old railcar-style place off Route 12. Booth by the window, grilled cheese in front of him, meatloaf and mashed for me. He was stacking fries like Lincoln logs, ketchup on his chin, pure 5-year-old chaos. And then he asked it, Daddy, how come I don't have a stepmom? I nearly dropped my fork. He didn't look up, just kept building his fry tower like he'd asked if the sky was blue. Why do you ask? I managed, clearing my throat. He shrugged. Kyle at school has one. He says she helps him with reading and makes pancakes on Sundays. Do I get one someday too? I looked at him, my son, my whole world, asking an innocent question that carried the weight of everything I'd broken. You remember Kara? I asked. He nodded. The lady in the picture frame? With the white dress? Yeah, I said. She was gonna be, kind of like your stepmom. He paused, chewing on a fry. What happened? I set my fork down, wiped my hands, took a breath. I made a mistake, I said. A big one. I didn't tell her everything I should have. And when people get hurt, sometimes they need space to heal. Josh blinked, like when I scraped my knee and didn't want anyone touching it. Exactly, I said. He thought for a minute. Is she still hurt? I nodded. Probably. But I hope, maybe someday, she won't be. Do you still like her? I smiled, small but honest. I do. Josh stared at me, serious now in a way only kids can be when they decide to drop wisdom on your head without warning. Then maybe you should make her pancakes. I laughed, a real one this time. I don't think pancakes are enough, buddy. He shrugged. Worked for Kyle's stepmom. We finished our meal in quiet. On the way home, he fell asleep in the back seat, head tilted, mouth slightly open. I glanced at him in the mirror and thought about Kara, her laugh, her fire, her silence. And the part of me that had been numb for weeks, it flickered back to life. Maybe Josh was right. Maybe it wasn't about the pancakes. Maybe it was about showing up, again and again, even if the kitchen was still cold. The next time I saw Kara, it wasn't planned. It was a Thursday afternoon, overcast and mean. I was sitting in my truck outside Josh's school, waiting for the bell to ring. Windows down, radio off, just the ticking sound of a turn signal from the guy parked in front of me. And then my phone rang. Unknown number. I let it buzz once, twice, figured it was a spam call or a wrong number. But something told me to answer. Hello. Silence. Then, hey, it's me. Her voice. That low, steady calm. Like a lake right before a storm. Kara, I breathed. Yeah. Pause. Listen, she said. I'm not calling to rehash everything. I got your letter. I've been thinking about it. My chest tightened. Okay. She hesitated. I could hear traffic behind her. Maybe she was walking, pacing a sidewalk somewhere. You were right, she said finally. Back then, you were afraid. You compartmentalized everything. You lied because you thought it was kindness. But you never gave me the chance to choose. And I hated you for that. I know, I said quietly. But, she added, you're not that guy anymore. My breath caught. What makes you say that? She gave a dry chuckle. That fundraiser. The letter. Showing up without asking anything in return. And Josh. You haven't even met him. I saw the video, she said. The one you posted of him reciting that story, the dinosaur one? He has your eyes. I smiled, watching the school doors open. Kids pouring out like ants from a kicked mound. Yeah, I said. But his spirit? That's all his own. Kara went quiet again. Then, I'm not saying I'm ready for anything, but I'd like to meet him, if that's okay. My throat tightened. You serious? Don't push it, she warned, a hint of humor there. I laughed. Okay. Yeah, of course. Whenever you're ready. I'll text you, she said. Just don't screw this up. I wanted to say something profound, something about second chances, or how hope doesn't always come with a drumroll. But all I managed was, I won't. The call ended. And right then, Josh spotted me through the window and came barreling toward the truck with that lopsided grin of his, waving a paper in the air like he'd just won the lottery. Dad, he shouted. Guess what? I got a gold star in reading. I opened the door, crouched down, and caught him in a hug. That's amazing, buddy. And inside, quietly, I whispered, she's coming. We chose a park. Neutral ground. Middle of the city, open skies, families everywhere. The kind of place where second chances didn't feel so heavy. It was a Sunday morning, warm for October. The leaves were just beginning to turn. Josh wore his favorite dinosaur hoodie, the one with the tiny felt spikes down the back, and kept asking if this lady we were meeting liked T-Rexes or Stegosauruses more. I didn't know how to answer. Kara showed up 5 minutes late. She wore jeans, a navy sweater, and her hair in that messy braid she always pulled together when she didn't want to think too hard. She carried a small gift bag and wore the kind of look that said she'd rehearsed this moment 100 times in her head. Josh stood behind my leg, peeking around with that mixture of curiosity and shyness only 5-year-olds pull off. Kara, I said. She nodded. Hi. I turned to Josh. Buddy, this is Miss Kara. Remember I told you about her? He stepped out slowly, blinking up at her. Kara crouched down, met him at eye level, and smiled. Hey there. I brought you something. She held out the bag. Inside was a book, Dinosaurs Love Underpants. A classic. Josh's eyes lit up. I love this one, he grinned. I had a feeling, she said. T-Rexes are kind of your thing, huh? He nodded furiously. And pterodactyls. And the long neck ones. Brachiosaurus, she replied. I used to know all their names when I was your age. That broke the ice. Within minutes, they were sitting on the grass, flipping through pages. Josh pointed at every silly illustration. Kara laughed with him, not at him, and that mattered. It was small but real. I stayed a step back, watching, and I saw it, the shift. Not some magical moment where everything was forgiven, but something subtler. A thread, reconnecting. Not between her and me, but her and the truth. The truth of who I was now. The truth of Josh, bright and loud and impossibly good. After a while, she stood, brushing leaves from her jeans. He's incredible, she said. He's my whole world, I replied. Kara looked at me. Really looked. You're different, she said. Not perfect, but grounded. Honest. I didn't say anything. Just let the silence sit between us like a campfire. Warm, a little crackling, but safe. Maybe we could do this again, she said. Just more of this. No expectations. I nodded. Whenever you want. Josh ran up, hugging her leg before dashing back toward the swings. She laughed. I guess I'm officially a fan of Stegosauruses now. Welcome to the club, I said. As she walked away, she turned back once. Not for long, not with any promises. Just a glance. But it said more than words could. It said, keep showing up. And I would. It was bound to happen. Monica called the day after the park. Not a text. Not a casual, hey, what's up? It was a full-blown, direct, let's get this straight kind of call. The kind I'd come to expect from her. Jake, she said, no small talk. We need to talk. Now. I was in the kitchen, making Josh's favorite, mac and cheese with hot dogs sliced like octopus. I turned the burner off and stepped onto the back porch, phone pressed tight. All right, I said, I'm listening. I heard from Kara. I froze. What? She reached out, Monica said. Wanted to talk. Said she'd met Josh, and that she thought I deserved to know. I leaned against the railing. I didn't ask her to do that. I know, she said, but I'm glad she did. There was a pause. Not angry, just heavy. You and I, we were never really a couple in the way people mean it. We held things together for Josh, and we did a decent job, considering. But I need to know what's happening now. Not for me. For him. I don't know, I admitted. Kara and I, we're not together. We're not even trying to be. She just wanted to meet Josh. It wasn't about starting anything. But do you want something to start? She asked. That question felt like a lit match in my chest. Yeah, I said. Someday. If she ever lets me. Monica sighed, long and deep. Then I need you to be straight with me. No more half-truths. I don't care if Kara ends up being your wife again or just a good memory. But I care if Josh gets caught in some web of confusion. He needs one version of the story, the truth. And he needs stability. I get that, I said. And I want that too. Then keep doing what you're doing, she said. But don't mess it up this time. You already lost her once by hiding things. I won't, I promised. And Jake? Yeah. She said something else. Kara, I mean. She said watching you with Josh made her think maybe there's hope for you after all. But hope's not a guarantee. It's a test. I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. I'm ready for the test. We ended the call. And I stood there in the quiet, hearing the soft sounds of my son inside, the clink of his spoon against the bowl. Monica had always been right where it counted. And now, more than ever, I knew what was at stake. Not just love. Legacy. I started the letter late one night, after Josh fell asleep with a dinosaur plush tucked under his arm and peanut butter on his cheek. Something about his peaceful breathing made me realize he wouldn't stay this little forever. And someday, he'd ask the bigger questions. About me. About Kara. About the life we almost had. So I started writing the truth. Hey buddy, if you're reading this, you're older now. Maybe old enough to start seeing that grown-ups don't always get it right. I want to tell you about a time when I got it really, really wrong. There was a woman named Kara. You met her when you were 5. She brought you a book and laughed at your dinosaur jokes. What you don't know is that before that, she almost became your stepmom. We were supposed to build a life together. But I lied to her. Not with my words, always, but with what I left out. I thought I was protecting everyone. Truth is, I was protecting myself. She walked away because she had to. And I respect her for that. But you changed everything. I looked at you and realized I didn't want to be the kind of man who only told half-truths. I wanted to be the kind of man you'd be proud of. Someone you'd believe in. Someone who earned second chances. I don't know if Kara and I ever found our way back. Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't. But either way, you should know she helped make me better. Just like you did. And if you ever find yourself with someone you care about, someone you want to build something with, tell them everything. Even the parts that scare you. Especially those parts. Because love isn't about being flawless. It's about being real. I love you, Dad. I folded the letter and sealed it in an envelope. Taped it to the inside of a shoebox where I keep his hospital bracelet, his first baby tooth, the crayon drawing he said was of me fighting a space monster in my work boots. One day he'll find it. And when he does, I hope it gives him answers. Not just about me, but about what it means to mess up, to own it, and to try again. Because that's the story of my life now. Not perfect, but true. It happened on a Wednesday. Not a holiday. Not an anniversary. Just one of those in-between days when nothing special is supposed to happen. I was folding laundry, Josh's little socks, his hoodie, a t-shirt that still had paint smudges from art class, when the doorbell rang. I wiped my hands and opened it. And there she was. Kara. No warning. No text. Just her. Hair pulled back. Cardigan sleeves pushed to her elbows, eyes tired but clear. Hey, she said. I stared for a moment. Hey. I was driving, she said. And I didn't mean to come here, but then I passed the park. The one with the crooked swings. And I turned in. I nodded. You want to come in? She hesitated, then stepped through the door. Josh was on the living room floor, surrounded by Legos and a half-finished drawing of a triceratops holding a sword. He looked up, blinking. Kara. She smiled. Hey, buddy. He leapt up, ran to her, hugged her leg. I stepped back, gave them space. Watched them sit on the floor and pick up right where they left off. No ceremony, no hesitation. Just two people who liked each other, in the simplest, truest way. After a while, she looked up at me. Do you still have that porch swing? She asked. Yeah, I said. Out back. We sat there together as the sun sank low, orange streaks painting the fence, the kind of quiet that feels earned. She sipped from the mug I handed her. Same one from the cabin. She noticed, but didn't say anything. I've been thinking, she said, about what I want, what I need. I didn't interrupt. I don't need a perfect man, she said, but I need a present one. A true one. Someone who shows up. Every day, even when it's hard. I nodded. I'm here. She studied me for a long time. Then, softly, then let's just sit. No big promises. No timelines. Just sit. Be. We sat. The wind rustled the trees. Somewhere inside, Josh sang off-key. And for the first time in a long time, the world felt like it wasn't waiting to collapse. Kara leaned her head on my shoulder, just for a second. And that second was enough. No fairy tale. No grand finish. Just two people on a porch swing, trying again. And maybe that's what love really is. Not the wedding. Not the dance floor. But what happens after the door opens again?